So we talked a little bit about this animal. HP, ultralight, ultra thin, whatever, with the with the 3050U in it, Athlon 3050U. Today we're going to try to run CyberPunk on it. Yeah, no kidding, right? So obviously this has 2 cores, 2 threads. It's got 2 graphics cores that are part of that Athlon processor. It's an Athlon Silver, if you can see that, yeah. Silver, it's a 3050U. It is not that hefty of a laptop, no pun intended, because it is an ultralight. It's got 4 gig of DDR4 memory. We will see if we can't do something else with that. I haven't even taken it apart yet. There looks like there's only 4 screws. Yeah, 4 screws to take the back off of it. So we probably will try to see if we can't do that. It's already got a 256 gig SSD. We know that for what it is, the purpose it's designed for, just being basically a small, lightweight notebook, fairly inexpensive, it does a great job. It is small, it is lightweight. It runs in Windows 10 S mode, which is Microsoft's mode where they want you to use only Microsoft products. Trying to get out of Windows S mode means you have to actually sign into the Microsoft Store to get a utility to actually stop using the Microsoft products. What? It's neither here nor there. So I figured, you know what? I was inspired by another channel, RandomGaminginHD, and I will go ahead and leave a link down here. He's got an Athlon 3000G that he puts through torture. And he plays AAA games and modern games and all that stuff. And he uses different settings to try to figure these games out and get this to run it at a minimum of 30 and sometimes even 60 frames per second. And there's a lot of titles that are fairly demanding, and including at one point CyberPunk 2077. So I thought, well, I've got an Athlon 3000 series. Let's give it a shot. So the first thing I noticed right out of the gate is trying to get Steam on here and some other utilities. That was difficult. Like I said, it runs in Windows 10 S mode, and so you have to go to the Microsoft Store. You have to sign into that. You have to get the utility that lets you get out of Windows 10 S mode into regular mode. So then you can go ahead and download Chrome or whatever other browser you want. You can go ahead and download things like Steam, or you can download things like the Riva Tuner and MSI Afterburner and things like that to check. So I did those things, and that probably makes it a little bit more difficult for this poor little thing to handle. But overall, I'm not going to say she was punching above her weight, but when we did try to go ahead and run CyberPunk, it was an unmitigated disaster. Yeah, we were lucky if we could get a handful of frames in the menu. It now, to its credit, it did try to load, and it did try to run at a healthy 1 or 2 frames a second. Kudos to it. Kudos. I mean, and I thought, okay, well maybe CyberPunk, even though it's a newer laptop, maybe it is something that's just, there's no way it can handle, especially not with 4 gigs of shared memory. It's got to share between the video and the CPU, and it's only got 2 cores and 2 threads and only 2 video cores. So I thought, okay, let's see what it can handle, because even if you're not very familiar with what most games will run on what hardware, everybody can agree that CSGO or Counter-Strike Global Offensive will run on pretty much anything. I could probably get it to run on my camera if I wanted to. But in any case, so we went ahead and we loaded that in, and we didn't take up space on the drive. I've got an external SSD that we did that with, but hooked it all up, ran it, and I'll be darned if we didn't get almost 6 frames a second. 6 frames a second. So it won't run on everything. Won't run on, won't run on this laptop, but that's okay. Like I said, it's not what this was designed to do, and we will find out again. We will try a couple things like upgrading the memory to see if things like that might help. I don't know if it will, but we can at least experiment and find out. We've got a baseline now, right? So, but there was a way that I could get it to run at a good, healthy, say, 45 frames per second on CyberPunk 2077. yeah, I'm going to run some of that B-roll now. Now, it was a stuttery mess. It was a pain, but it ran through the benchmark, and it did make it all the way through the benchmark, and we had like 40-something frames per second. That's because we streamed it from Danny D. Now, if you do have a computer that's lesser quality or doesn't measure up in some ways, like a laptop or something like that, you might be able to turn some of your settings down and actually stream from another computer. In this case, I streamed it from Danny D. I did try to stream it from the computer I've got here, but for some reason, I'm having problems trying to run CyberPunk on this computer. That was an issue that I've had for a week or two, and I haven't quite mapped it all out yet and figured it all out. But it runs fine on Danny D, so I streamed it from there. And like I said, it was a stuttery mess because I'm sure in some ways has something to do with the Ethernet connection and Wi-Fi and the fact that there's not a whole lot of resources on this laptop. Now, I have mentioned this before, being able to stream from a good computer or a well-running computer, something with heavy in resources, to a lighter computer. I did this with a regular all-in-one HP probably about a year ago when I fixed my sister's computer. She gave it to me, said, look, I don't need it anymore. If you can salvage it, do whatever. And I did post a video that none of you guys watched, but that's okay because the concept was still there, and it gives me a chance to stream it on this laptop, and still somebody might find out about it. Anyway, but you set up Steam on the target laptop or the target computer or what have you with the limited resources. Make sure it's set up to be able to run on the better computer, and you should be able to run it on the lesser computer from there with a decent internet or a decent Wi-Fi connection or something like that in the house. Why would you want to do that? Say you've got a laptop that's not that powerful, and but you've got a game that you're really into, and you're up at night and you've got your laptop in the bedroom with you, and you decide, you know what, I'll get in an hour or two before I fall asleep. Well, you're not going to get up and walk all the way into the other room and start playing on your computer. But if you got your laptop in the same room, you might crank open the laptop and just stream it from there and be able to play for a little while until you get tired. I don't know. Probably not a good idea to have that much screen time right before you go into bed, but who knows? You could, if you're in a place where your computer is, say, in the living room and the rest of the family's watching something on the TV and you want to play in another room, same type of deal. You could take the laptop or another computer or something like that and stream it from the better computer that might be in the living room where everybody else is watching everything. You might be able to stream it in another room and play that way. So there's a couple of use cases. They might not be the best use cases, but there's a couple of them. And I thought I would, if nothing else, I thought I would at least take a look and see if we couldn't do anything with this little 2-core, 2-thread HP ultralight that it's really, I'm pretty well pleased with it overall. It's pretty snappy and pretty good. It is definitely not designed for any kind of gaming. It's definitely not designed for any kind of hardcore productivity or anything like that. It's just your regular basic. It's probably a step or two above a Chromebook, if that. And it's great for what it's meant for, and it's not going to do too much else. But it was a fun experiment. It was fun to try to, and it was fun to play around with. Don't tear it up, Paul. It's yeah. Anyway, it was fun to play with and try to figure out. And that doesn't mean that the experimentation is done, because I'll put some more memory in it and see how it does that way. But that is going to do it for this one. I will get back to this. We'll try to put some different stuff on here. We'll figure out some different things and maybe experiment and maybe stream on something else. Who knows? We'll see what happens. Still have some of those other notebooks and things to clean up and get figured out. I am working on the smaller iMac. If you weren't watching the video before, go back and take a look at that. There was 2 iMacs in there, one a newer one that was smaller and one a larger one that was from way back. And the smaller one, I think I've been able to salvage most of the material. That's going to be in an upcoming video. I've got most of that recorded. I have to do some support material and edit that, but that will probably be the next video that's coming up. Anyway, that's going to do it for this one. I just wanted to kind of share with you that I was trying to experiment that was, again, it was kind of inspired by another channel. And yeah, this Athlon doesn't do as well. This is Athlon, but I'm not upset about it. Nope. Not upset about it at all. Anyway, the only thing I'm going to do besides ask you to go ahead and hit me up on all the socials and subscribe, like, and all that good stuff is just ask you one very important thing, and that's be nice to each other. Smile, wave, hold the door open, do something. Just do something nice to brighten somebody's day. You might find they'll do the same thing for you, or they might do it first. So until next time, when I tear something else up, I'll see you later.